Overcoming the Hidden Curriculum. Hello, everyone. I'm teacher Maita, and I'm an SHS teacher. I'm also a curriculum builder. I've made the arts and design curriculum for our school, Catholic Filipino Academy. So, this is for the homeschool side of things, where at first we had a hybrid program before the pandemic. Now we have transitioned fully online. So I have revamped and expanded 8 art subjects for grade 11 and grade 12 arts and design track. I've also done one Hume's subject, which is culminating activity Hume's fusion. That's one subject. And I've made mini curriculums for our club, especially for the summer club program. So, curriculum design is actually very near and dear to me. And I really, really believe in the hidden curriculum. Its uses for good, of course. So, we will go into that. First, let's tackle what is hidden curriculum. So, there's formal curriculum, which consists of the courses, the lessons, the learning activities students participate in, and those are the knowledge and skills that the educators intentionally teach the students. Normally, normally it comes from the DepEd, and then it's trickled down to the schools where the teachers will translate that into lesson plans. But there is also the hidden curriculum, which is the implicit ones. These are consists of, but not confined to, social and cultural messages, the norms, how we communicate, how we navigate the world, anything that is caught and not taught. So we'll go into that because you might be asking, is it good? Is it bad? I mean, it's something that you caught, right? Not deliberately taught. So, well, it's not a case of good and bad. It's it's something that is really just picked up by the students. So, as educators, we really, really have to check ourselves. Now, hidden curriculum does not just apply to the teachers, it will also apply to the parents. That is one thing in our school that we are really telling the parents that parents, you are the first educators of the children. You are the ones at home. And as much as the students will stay in school for 6 to 8 hours, uh, at the end of the day, they will always look to you. So the hidden curriculum is caught. Um, you will notice very combative students come from parents who are also very combative and things like that. So let's tackle systemic hidden curriculum. So these are lessons that are, as I said, caught, not taught. And the schools deliberately employ this as part of the curricula because you can employ the hidden curriculum, especially if you want to teach something that sticks. You will have to explore how to integrate this to the hidden curriculum. So there are curriculum that is integrated deliberately. You have to watch out because you can also impart institutional biases. Example, if the institution is pro Marcos, this is just an example, please. Do not get triggered. Example, the school is very much pro Marcos. And because they don't want to offend the new administration, they would like to take out anything and everything that is about martial law. So in effect, you are erasing the history into from the classroom, from the curriculum itself. And that on its own is a hidden curriculum. You have in essential or essentially, you have changed the curriculum. So things like that. But there are some things that can be used for good in systemic hidden curriculum. For example, you would like to impart good grammar, You want to impart well versed in English. So, um, example for art class, we make a painting, and then part of the painting is they have to explain what the painting is. And the teacher will ask the students, all right, guys, make sure that your explanation is in English. And then we will all upload it in YouTube. And then we will play the videos in class with you presenting your painting, of course, with the explanation. So, with that, they are already taught how to speak, public speaking. They're already taught English because then you have to watch yourselves. You have to make sure you speak well because once you upload something, especially in a very um, public platform like YouTube, you would like to speak well. So students would often practice nonstop just to deliver 1 or 2 minutes of their lines while they record themselves. And the act of recording and uploading, you've taught them how to do podcasts. You've taught them how to navigate in a digital world, which is YouTube being a big part of that. So if you played in class, then you are essentially asking the students to evaluate each other, even if it doesn't really have any bearing on the grades that the teacher is the one giving the grades. It will have a bearing that they are evaluating each other's work, even if it's by themselves. So that in its own is a hidden curriculum. Now, please watch out. There are unconscious hidden curriculum. Back to our discussions that lessons are often caught, not taught, because the students see teachers as second parents. Often they mimic the teachers, especially if your teacher is your parents. So in our school in CFA, Catholic Filipino Academy, we actually tell the parents that learning has three groups in this scenario, in our scenario, especially right now during pandemic, during online. There's you have to imagine that the learning of the student is a three-legged stool. One leg is the student, one leg is the parent, and one leg is the institution, us. So the institution will be all the teachers, the staff, and everybody who runs the school who will be helping in this, of course. And then the parents or anybody at home. It could be extended family. It could also be your tutors, especially if the parents hire extra tutors, of course, to help their kids. And then the other leg, of course, is the student themselves because sariling kayod, this has to be part of them. Now, if you take out one of these, the stool will fall. You need all three to support. And that's really what happens at home. If you have a parent that's checked out, basically, the student, you will notice, is also checked out because they would see, oh, doesn't matter. My parents don't really care, so why should I care? That is an unconscious, hidden curriculum. In the same way, of course, a disciplined household produces a disciplined student. So, for better or for worse, they learn to navigate their way from us the teachers, us the parents, and everybody who has a stake in the student's education. So a hidden curriculum is not written down or planned, unless, of course, you integrate it. Now, I will cite some examples. Let's say hidden curriculum in writing class. So the English subjects, English for academic purposes, reading and writing in English, and all those subjects. So we have the normative expectations where, of course, students will arrive on time in your class. They will read, they will annotate their reading, they will participate actively in the discussion, express themselves in standard English because, especially for the higher levels, English really is our mode of communication for the classroom, unless, of course, it is a Filipino or Hekasi subject. So the hidden curriculum is that the students will accurately interpret our writing assignments, our instructions not to plagiarize, and of course attend to our consciously drafted feedbacks of their revisions. Because if the students don't know how to react to our revisions, then there's a problem there. But often children are very resilient, and of course, that's the way they learn when you critique their work. I hope they learn that way. Now, I'll put another example. This is from my own experience in art class. Normally, we teach them either we paint, we sculpt, digital, or whatever the class is. Now, how to use the tools, how to balance, those are all part of the curriculum. Elements of arts, principles of design and composition. That is basically the curricula of arts and design. Now, the hidden curriculum is using their art to progress the nation, express their Filipino identity, manage their time well, judge their own art, perhaps also evaluate their classmates' work. So, there are a lot of hidden things happening while we are doing our art. Now, I will tell you some practical problems with hidden curriculum. So, the hidden curriculum will be navigable for students from well resourced, college educated family who possess cultural capital and who are already familiar with the dominant accepted status quo. This is true in our country, this is true in most country. Unfortunately, this is a fact of life because if you are a student and you see your parents who are very much educated, it is the norm for you to be going to college. It is the norm for you to um, find a passionate job, a well paying job. You know that, hey, I have these skills, I value them, I know my worth. Those are things that are caught. You know your value because those things are caught. You do not teach value, you do not tell a student, hey, you have value. It will slide off. They have to really catch that within themselves. And if you are from coming from buena familia, you tell your students this, you tell your children this, and that is hidden curriculum, even in a home setting. So, additionally, attending well resourced school, not just high school, schools, in our case, high school, of course, with rigorous academics, college counseling. Um, you have your teachers. I myself guide my students to doing this, college counseling or finding out what they want to do afterwards. So these will augment their children's readiness, the students' readiness to go to college. And that's an advantage because they transition successfully to college because um, whether it is hidden or unconsciously, sorry, whether it is unconsciously or deliberate, they catch this. They know this. They're ingrained in the students already. Unfortunately, not all students have access to the resources because if you have a lot of resources, you can, especially for the teachers, we can enact the hidden curriculum. We can incorporate what we want our students to become or what we want to impart to our students unconsciously, deliberately, because we have all the resources that we need. So let me give you an example. If your student is starving and you want to teach them time management, you want to teach them reading, writing, English, things like that, how can you? Because the student cannot concentrate. So what would happen? Nothing will be absorbed there, whether it is the standard curriculum or the hidden curriculum. Nothing will come inside their heads. But if your school has resources, you have a canteen, you can see that this child is struggling. You would like to help them, so you would send them to the canteen or to the clinic. They will give the child maybe milk, a sandwich, something. The school might have budget for things like that, like emergency budget for, oh, because the child forgot to eat breakfast. So the teacher will just write a note to the canteen, please give this student a sandwich. And there's no charge, only because the school has resources for that. So not all schools have that, unfortunately. Now, how to overcome roadblocks in curriculum. To encourage learning and achievements in all our children, we must be aware of our own assumptions and expectations of course, because they pick that up. Okay, so your standards, attitudes, behaviors, practices, the rules, we sometimes take them for granted, but they are being absorbed by our students, our children. So we must conduct ongoing informal assessments, especially for our vulnerable students, the ones that you feel like they're not picking up the hidden curriculum or the standard curriculum. Sit them down, maybe. In the same light, we have to evaluate ourselves as teachers to make sure that our hidden curriculum is without biases. Because sometimes there are biases that we impart to our children. I myself are sometimes guilty of that. My students have often seen that I have a preference for Bonifacio over Rizal. Um, I have a preference for Luna over Hidalgo. So those are some of the things that you might have to explore, that you have to give context so that the students will know it's not something that I just feel like. They could see that I have a preference for Van Gogh versus Picasso. So those are some of the things that we have to check ourselves. Now let's go to practical applications of hidden curriculum, because this can have practical applications. So when you overcome hidden curriculum, you don't overcome the hidden curriculum, you overcome the biases and the negativity that surrounds the hidden curriculum. You can use the hidden curriculum for good. So because institutions represent the social systems, they can work against the entire group, unfortunately. Um, so you have to check yourselves, because let's face it, there is unequal distribution of opportunity, of wealth, and justice in this society, all societies. It's not always flowers and roses. So as teachers, we must do our share to break the cycle, that to show our students that education can have equity in the classrooms. So hidden curriculum can be used to impart practical knowledge, such as time management, research, lifelong learning, good citizenship, educational aspirations, so that all your students will be equal to each other. So even if that student come from not a very financially stable background, they will have educational aspiration to seek for scholarships and higher education, because they know they can, because they are lifelong learners and they know how to manage their time, so they can have maybe working job, or they will work for the school for their scholarship. So they will do their research where they can get the scholarship, find the best schools available to them who give scholarships. So here are some of the practical applications for that. So I hope my report on hidden curriculum has helped. This is good for students, for teachers, and for the parents, of course. This is my sources. So thank you very much for listening to my report. I know it's a little long. Thank you. Thank you very much.